Uncle Sam is one of the most recognizable national symbols in the world. A tall man with a white beard, a top hat decorated with stars and stripes, and a finger pointing directly at you. For most people, Uncle Sam has always existed. He feels official, permanent, inevitable. But Uncle Sam was not created by a government committee. He was not designed by a branding agency, and he was never meant to represent a nation. He started as a joke. To understand how this happened, we need to go back to the early 19th century, to a time when the United States was still trying to define what it actually was. In 1812, the United States went to war with Great Britain. The conflict is now known as the War of 1812, and at the time the country was young, divided, and poorly prepared. The U.S. Army relied heavily on private contractors to supply food, uniforms, and equipment. One of those contractors was a meat supplier from New York named Samuel Wilson. Samuel Wilson owned a meat packing business in Troy, New York. He supplied barrels of beef to the U.S. Army. Like many military suppliers of the era, his goods were marked for identification. The barrels were stamped with the letters U.S. Officially, this stood for United States. But soldiers, who often coped with war through humor, began joking that the meat came from Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam was Samuel Wilson's nickname. The joke spread quickly through army camps. When supplies arrived, soldiers would ask if the barrels were from Uncle Sam. Over time, Uncle Sam stopped referring to the man himself and started referring to the government that issued the supplies. At first, it was informal. There was no image, no symbol, just a name passed along through conversation. But language has a way of turning jokes into reality. Newspapers picked up the term. Political cartoons began using Uncle Sam as shorthand for the U.S. government. The name was simple, memorable, and human. Unlike abstract concepts like the state or the federal authority, Uncle Sam sounded personal. He felt like someone you knew. By the 1830s and 40s, Uncle Sam was commonly used in print to describe the United States itself. Still, there was no fixed appearance. Different artists imagined him differently. Sometimes he looked like a farmer, sometimes like a merchant, sometimes like a generic older man. What mattered was not how he looked, but what he represented, a stand-in for the federal government. As the United States expanded westward and became more involved in global affairs, the need for recognizable national symbols grew. Other countries already had them. Britain had John Bull. France had Marianne. America needed something similar. During the 19th century, multiple symbols competed for that role. Columbia, a female figure inspired by classical imagery, was widely used. The bald eagle appeared on seals and flags. Uncle Sam existed alongside them, but was not yet dominant. That changed in the late 19th and early 20th centuries when mass media began to standardize imagery. Newspapers, magazines, and posters needed symbols that were instantly recognizable. Uncle Sam began to take on more consistent features. Gradually, artists converged on a single look: an older man, white-haired, thin, serious, dressed in red, white, and blue. The most influential depiction came during World War I. In 1917, as the United States entered the war, the government needed soldiers, millions of them. An artist named James Montgomery Flagg created a recruitment poster that would define Uncle Sam forever. The image showed Uncle Sam staring directly at the viewer, arm extended, finger pointing outward. Below him were the words, "I want you for U.S. Army." The pose was not original. It was adapted from a British poster featuring Lord Kitchener, but the execution was perfect. Uncle Sam no longer looked like a distant authority figure. He was addressing you personally. The poster was everywhere. It became one of the most reproduced images in American history. From that moment on, Uncle Sam stopped being just a nickname or a cartoon. He became the face of the nation. During World War II, the image was reused and refined. Uncle Sam appeared in posters encouraging enlistment, rationing, factory work, and war bonds. He was stern but familiar, demanding but not abstract. After the war, the symbol didn't disappear. Uncle Sam transitioned smoothly into the Cold War era. He appeared in political cartoons, propaganda, and public messaging, sometimes heroic, sometimes critical, sometimes even mocked, but always recognizable. What began as a joke between soldiers had become a permanent national icon. And yet, the origin was never erased. Uncle Sam did not come from mythology. He did not come from ancient history. He came from logistics, from stamped barrels, from supply chains, from a man whose job was simply to deliver food on time.
That is what makes the symbol powerful. Uncle Sam represents authority, but his roots are ordinary. He was not invented to inspire. He emerged because people needed a name for the system supplying them. A nickname became language. Language became imagery. Imagery became identity. And once an identity exists, it tends to outlive its origins. By the time the U.S. Congress officially recognized Samuel Wilson as the inspiration for Uncle Sam in 1961, the symbol had already existed for over a century. The recognition changed nothing. Uncle Sam was no longer tied to a single person. He belonged to the system that adopted him. In the next part, we'll look at why Uncle Sam survived while other American symbols faded, how his meaning shifted over time, and why modern states still rely on human figures to represent abstract power. Uncle Sam survived because he was useful. Nations are abstract systems. They are laws, borders, institutions, and agreements. But people do not relate easily to abstractions. They relate to faces. Throughout history, states have repeatedly turned to human figures to represent power. Kings, queens, gods, saints, and allegorical characters have all served the same purpose: to make authority feel tangible. Uncle Sam filled that role for the United States. Unlike Columbia or other classical figures, he did not feel distant or symbolic. He felt practical. He wore ordinary clothes. He spoke directly. He did not float above the nation. He stood inside it. This made him adaptable. When the government needed support, Uncle Sam could appear confident and commanding. When criticism was needed, artists could twist the image and turn him into a symbol of excess, greed, or overreach. The same figure could be used both to promote policy and to challenge it. That flexibility is rare. Many national symbols are fragile. They depend on a fixed meaning. Once that meaning is questioned, the symbol weakens. Uncle Sam did not depend on a single interpretation. He could be heroic or threatening, protective or demanding, trusted or feared. This ambiguity allowed him to survive political change. As the 20th century progressed, Uncle Sam became embedded in popular culture. He appeared in films, cartoons, advertisements, and satire. Sometimes he was used to sell war bonds. Other times he was used to criticize government surveillance, military intervention, or economic inequality. In each case, the symbol remained intact. The meaning shifted, but the image endured. This endurance was not accidental. Human figures are cognitively powerful. People instinctively assign intention, emotion, and responsibility to faces. When a policy is presented by a human figure, it feels less like a system and more like a choice. Uncle Sam does not just represent the government. He implies that someone is watching, someone is asking, someone expects compliance. That psychological effect is subtle but effective. Modern governments understand this. Even in highly technological societies, abstract authority is often translated into human imagery. Mascots, spokespersons, avatars, and symbolic figures continue to appear in public messaging. The tools change, the logic does not. Uncle Sam also survived because he was never legally defined. There is no single official version of Uncle Sam. No law describes his appearance. No agency controls his image. This lack of ownership allowed artists, advertisers, and critics to reuse and reinterpret him freely. A symbol that belongs to everyone is harder to erase. By contrast, symbols that are tightly controlled often disappear when regimes change. Uncle Sam avoided that fate. Over time, the historical origin of the name faded from public memory. Few people associated Uncle Sam with Samuel Wilson. The meat barrels, the supply contracts, the joke, all of it became footnotes. What remained was the function, a human face for an abstract system. Today, Uncle Sam is instantly recognizable around the world. Even people with no connection to American history understand what he represents. Not a man, not a policy, but a state asking something of you. And yet, his origin matters, because it reveals how symbols are not always designed. Sometimes they emerge. They grow out of routine, out of bureaucracy, out of repetition. Uncle Sam did not begin as propaganda. He became propaganda because he worked. He simplified something complex. He gave shape to something invisible. And once that shape was established, it was reused again and again. This pattern is not unique. Many of the systems, symbols, and technologies that define the modern world did not begin with grand intentions. They began as practical solutions to immediate problems. Over time, those solutions accumulated meaning. They became familiar, then inevitable.
Uncle Sam is a reminder that power does not always announce itself. Sometimes it arrives quietly, through language, habit, and convenience. A joke becomes a name becomes a symbol becomes an identity, and eventually the identity feels as if it has always been there. In the final part, we'll look at how Uncle Sam fits into a broader pattern of accidental symbols and why modern societies continue to rely on figures that were never officially created to represent them. Uncle Sam is not an exception. He belongs to a larger pattern that appears again and again in modern history. Some of the most powerful symbols in society were never formally created. They were not planned. They were not designed to last. They emerged because people needed shortcuts. Modern life is complex. States, corporations, and systems operate at a scale that no individual can fully grasp. To function, societies compress that complexity into symbols, flags, logos, figures. These symbols act as interfaces. They allow people to interact with systems without understanding every layer beneath them. Uncle Sam became one of those interfaces. He allowed citizens to visualize the state as a single entity, not as laws or institutions, but as a presence. This presence could be persuasive, it could be intimidating, it could even be ridiculed, but it was always legible. That legibility is why Uncle Sam outlived the era that created him. The War of 1812 ended, the meat contracts ended. Samuel Wilson died in 1854, but the symbol continued to evolve. As American power expanded in the 20th century, Uncle Sam followed. He appeared in global propaganda, in political cartoons abroad, in textbooks, films, and news media. Outside the United States, Uncle Sam often took on a different role. He became a stand-in for American influence itself. Sometimes benevolent, sometimes aggressive, sometimes absurd, but still recognizable. This adaptability is crucial. Symbols that survive do so because they can be reused in new contexts without losing their core meaning. Uncle Sam always communicates the same idea, an abstract system made personal. That idea remains useful. Even in the digital age, where governments operate through data, algorithms, and networks, the need for human representation has not disappeared. If anything, it has intensified. The more invisible power becomes, the more people look for faces to attach it to. Avatars replace officials, icons replace institutions, simplified figures stand in for complex processes. Uncle Sam fits naturally into this environment. He does not explain how the system works, he signals that the system exists, and that is often enough. The persistence of Uncle Sam also reveals something else. History is not only shaped by leaders, wars, and decisions, it is shaped by language. Words create associations. Associations create symbols. Symbols create identities. Once an identity is established, it can operate independently of its origin. Few people think about meat barrels when they see Uncle Sam pointing from a poster. The connection has dissolved. What remains is the function, a symbol that asks, that demands, that represents. Uncle Sam reminds us that the modern world is built as much from accidents as from intentions, from jokes that became terms, from terms that became images, from images that became power. The systems we live inside often feel inevitable, but many of them began as temporary solutions to immediate problems. They survived because they worked. Uncle Sam worked, not because he was official, but because people accepted him. And once acceptance becomes habit, habit becomes tradition. By the time a symbol feels permanent, its origin no longer matters. That is how a butcher's nickname became the face of a nation, and how a simple joke became one of the most enduring symbols of the modern world.
If this story interested you, subscribe. More hidden histories are coming.